So as I had mentioned, the bees that we keep are what I would describe as Bergen County bees. Majority of the queens, and the genetics of the hive is totally determined by the queen. Because if I would replace a queen in a hive, in 6 weeks all the bees in that hive would be her offspring. So the queens in our hive are all feral queens that have been taken from the wild. But my assumption, based on the historical information that I can get, the beekeepers that kept bees here 150, 200 years ago, they had started with Italian honeybees. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean, Italian honeybees? It's not that they have a passport from Italy. What Italian honeybees, that was a strain of bees. There are bees that are from, there were Russian honeybees. There were, everybody's heard of the infamous Africanized honeybee, which is just an aggressive honeybee and not one which serves good purpose in collecting honey and working with beekeepers to collect honey. They're not aggressive that they're going to kill anybody. But the bees that we keep most of them are descendants of Italian bees that were brought here from Italy. They had noticed when they were collecting bees that these bees were particularly gentle. They were easy to work with. They kept large stores. They cut down their total population during the winter, which made them easier to manage. They wintered very well in the cold weather. They wintered very well. And the difference now between our bees and what you'd call, I guess, regular honeybees that very often people buy from Georgia, they get them from Georgia, they could get them from California, and those bees are Italians that have been bred in Georgia or somewhere else. Our bees are bees that had escaped into the wild probably about 100 years ago and have bred one bee with the other in a wild environment, and through just genetic selection, natural genetic selection, the strongest of those bees have survived. Question one might ask is, what difference does that make to my honey? I've never seen on a honey label, these were produced by honeybees from Italy or honeybees from Russia or from Africa for that matter. And the answer is it would make zero difference. The bees, regardless of what variety of honeybees that you have, the type of honey they produce is more a response to the flora that they collected, the nectar that they collected, but the honey itself will be the same. The difference is to the survival of the colony and the honeybee health as a whole. And now I would like to introduce you to somebody very special, and I'd like to have Ray join me. Many people ask, could I be a honey beekeeper? Could I be a beekeeper? Is it something that I could do? And that's another important thing. You're beekeepers. We're not really bee farmers. Even though this is Farmer TV, we're not true farmers, because all you could do as a beekeeper is keep the bees, because the bees sort of do their own thing. But very often people ask me, I live in a small house, I don't have that much room, can I be a beekeeper? Am I too old? Does it take up too much time? Well, Ray is one of my students. I don't have that many, I've got a couple of them. But Ray's a great example. He jumped right in. He's a couple of years older than me. He's been an absolutely fantastic student. He's worked very hard at the craft. This year he has one hive. I believe in the future he'll add to that. He's been with me on many rescues. He's excellent at what he does. His bees are doing fantastic, and I'm looking forward to working with him many years. He's a fantastic asset to the craft.